to feed in to the darkness, which is the considerate beginning at the true vine of Adam and Eve, where as the world was created and all things in it from the ground up, meaning the creepy crawlies, the slugs, the snails, and all of those little bugs and critters were here first, a part of the true vine in creation. And believe it or not, the heavens and hell's sanctuary above feeds off of it. Their shepherd, or their speaker, a speaker for the Lord, or something in that nature of things. But the true vine is from the earth up with a speaker. So the Lord is with Adam, in a sense, at the beginning, the true vine, with wisdom and knowledge, but being born through the spiritual taking of Adam. Let's say that the human anatomy is the creation of all things in its likeness to its form of God. Let's say that what is written in the Bible is something considered to be a bit and a bridle to overcome in its divinational plot. The bit and the bridle out of wedlock that was made in the religious view of marriage, the bit and bridle that does these things out of wedlock, the church that is mostly about the woman of Caesar, or other women outside of strip clubs that are constantly in a sacrifice with livestock, a carrier of an ark, as well as all of the other alphas listed to carry the ark of God, which Noah had put upon a ship. Let's say that the ship is he who is able to carry the weight of God and speak real true wisdom, with the two windows able to see heaven for the manipulation, let's say, or a sense of knowing that God is real by the miraculous wonders, and he is with you above as well as upon this earth. But upon this earth does he feed from us, be it that we speak wisdom and knowledge. He seeks one with real understanding. This is, in my understanding, the realm of the King of Peace and of Abbybaal, Beowulf, and with the Savior Jesus Christ, with Uziel of Beowulf, also known as Satan, the Savior that plays with God's children in the form of tests and trials to overcome, be it that we overcome it by the words of our mouth and the actions of what we do in the form of a consecration to the Lord, be it that the species that seeks shepherding, we get lost in a world where we are being led by money. Not saying that money is the sin, but it does turn the heart sour, bitter, and stuck up towards the poor, or afflicted, and the widow, the orphan, the fatherless. We live in a system where all in all is all we are. So the more charity in the moral of living by money and its power to control by the law, the better. The more charity, even in a poor man's shoes, or afflicted person, or disabled, or a lame man, widow, orphan, or fatherless, even charity from those people to give is a good thing when times like these. Let's say that if take me for instance, if I'm the only one that is spiritually lit and spiritually speaking, and all of the people come after it, as the prophecy is read to be Ragnarok, for the way that I've handled it or taken it, or the way they've treated me, for it is the iniquity of all. That's the way it's explained with Jesus Christ. And even after death, Jesus Christ still walks. My name is not Jesus Christ, it's Matthew. So it does have something that comes from the gods in the form of a spiritual awakening, a birth of someone dying, or just a choice by one of the archangels for me to shepherd his church and pass it on to another church spiritually until it's purified, and pass it on to another church spiritually until it's purified, and so on 7 times in the furnace or in the fire, the flame, until the spirit itself is purified into a real actual soul, a piece of a star that can go back into its place where it belongs until rebirth again in a new child with a soul, or even an old adult after 40 years of living to the moral and its price with the law. So the true vine from the earth is where it started with Adam and Eve. And Save My Arm is created by a certain covenant made with one of the elders, and it is there because the covenant had made it. If that covenant that made the ribs was taken from Adam and made the woman Eve, and Eve was but a spirit, and Adam slept with the spirit and gave childbirth, this is the war. The war was the woe of death through childbirth and rebirth and dying. So those are the 3 woes. And Adam was the real creation of God's likeness, but Eve was more closer to the spirit, in rationalizing that the woman who is known to feed man the world conflict. Most men lose themselves to woman, or they lose their heads and their spiritual self, their natural self. They cry like little babies and can't get away from it, and they're stuck in this woman who had done that to them. This is the law that we live in. So I've explained to the children of Israel, be it that it is the spirit that shepherds and runs the world instead of the actual people, be it that we are still spirits. We're just awake to that world conflict that fed us, the hatred, the anger, the feeling of emotion that is without power in the kingdoms of peace and rest. So run. I mean, get out of here, man, if you can't stop crying about a woman. You know what I mean? Even a police officer, grab him up, take him all the way across the state, and get him away from him, chain him down, save a fellow Jesus Christ. If the head of man is Jesus Christ and the head of woman is man, You know what I'm saying? We have to do our part in some kind of way to help in this understanding until the said prophecy I did not write, but have read day and night for seeking God. 144,000. I am burning for somebody else's loss in a woman. I have not lost myself to a woman per se, but I am burning for another's iniquity, as it's written with Jesus Christ, who carried all people's iniquity and spoke truth until the point of Herod court and crossed with Caesar and all his strip clubs with his strippers who are retiring on him with all of their livestock sacrifice. So daily with God, so that I may sit on the throne, or sit at the throne. Not for myself. I'm not, normally I don't share things like this with people, but I've been given a sacrifice of penis fish. Say it is the rod of a human being in the likeness of God. The rod and the reed in Revelation 11, that is nothing but a divination of prophecy. That, like, you can't fear anything that's written in the Bible. It's already taken place. It's not something that says it has to take place. It's a trick to personally kill off 144,000 of God's soldiers for the darkness to overcome the world and destroy God's creation. The Bible and the church is a trick. So don't believe anything that you read in the Bible, especially prophecies. Stand strong in the foundation of darkness, for it is the darkness that we shepherd, so that the woman knows, so that the man knows, so that the children know, and all people know. The law.
You don't stand strong in